Excuse me as I kiss the sky. Hey guys, it is Soncerae here. Justice is here with me. Boom. So Justice. We are out with my daughter. My daughter is celebrating her birthday, so she turned 20. I know, right? How do I have a 2-year-old and a 20-year-old? Yeah. Started all the way over with motherhood. I was almost done. So I have this single mom group on Facebook. If you would like to join it, please feel free to do so. Go to facebook.com/groups/we give you life, okay? We will welcome you with open arms. So being a mother and raising my son alone is not as depressing as a lot of people would believe. I mean, some days it's kind of hard. I don't have a lot of time to myself. We currently live in Northern California, and in Northern California, you kind of got to work a lot harder to be able to survive here. You can't just, be lazy at all here. So you kind of got to step your game up in a place like this because everything is so expensive. So one of the things that women ask me all of the time is child support worth it? Is filing for child support worth it? How do I get a decent co-parenting relationship with the fathers of my children? And my thing is simple as this. It's you kind of gotta let people grow on their own. You can't force a man to be a father. You can't force him to get along with you. That's something that he has to want to do naturally on his own. Now, I'm the type of woman, I wouldn't personally want my household to be this revolving door for my son's father to decide when he wants to come in and out of my son's life. That's not the type of woman I am. I know a lot of women that are very forgiving like that, but at some point, to me, it's almost it's too late for you to try to suddenly come into a child's life and disrupt it. I think fathers, if you haven't seen your children or if you've been a deadbeat for X amount of time, the best thing I think that you should do is try to be in your child's life the earliest that you can. The longer you wait, the harder it is. And a lot of people always say, well, you got time, with time you can do this, you can do that. No, I think as a father you need to try really hard to be in a child's life very early. Now, one thing that I don't like that a lot of mothers disagree with me about is the question whether or not fathers have a say in whether children should be born. I think a lot of people feel like fathers don't have a say in whether or not children can be born. Guys will ask for adoption or abortion, and a lot of women feel well, the choice is up to me. I always feel like men have a choice in the matter as well. So if you do end up pregnant, or fellas, if you end up in a relationship with a woman and she ends up becoming pregnant, you do have a right, you do have a say in the situation. But a lot of times, men and women disagree on whether or not it's the perfect time to have a child. And honestly, I can tell you this, there's no perfect time to have a child. It's you'll never be fully prepared to be a parent. No parent will tell you that. It's kind of something that happens and you get accustomed to it, and each time it's different. With boys, it's different than how you raised girls. Even the era that you're living in at the time, or how many other children you have, or where you live at, determines your parenting experience. So, you're never ready. You know what I mean? It's something that you have to get ready for. Becoming a mother or becoming a father, if you don't have children already, I see how you can be afraid. I want men to stop suggesting abortion or adoption. I mean, if you didn't want children, the best thing that you can do for yourself is strap it up. A lot of men say they didn't want kids. They make it seem like a girl got pregnant on her own. No, it takes 2 people in order for a pregnancy to even happen. So it's if you're a guy, you don't want any kids, strap it up, man, and try not to have casual sex. You can't get mad at a woman if you've been having casual sex with her without any type of protection. You can't get mad at her if she just ends up pregnant. you know, that's just retarded, you know. Like, oh, she got pregnant on me, like she's like this problematic chick that just had a baby, you know. No, it's not like that at all. A lot of men detach themselves from children of women that they themselves weren't in love with or didn't want to be with, or women that might give them a hard time. And you know, women, I think it's a lot of good black men out there, but at the same time there are also a lot of bad black men, so women have got to be selective. But in processes like this, I think everybody involved should try to aim to have a good co-parenting experience. So waking up one morning and realizing that you're going to be a father is kind of hard. You know, it's the same thing with you waking up one day and realizing you're going to be a mother, especially when you are having a baby by somebody that you might be casually sleeping with, or y'all might just be in a relationship and you don't know if you want to be married. Y'all don't know what you want, you know, so it's scary for both parties. So if you're a man and you just found out that your girl pregnant, please try not to ask her for an adoption or an abortion. Now, I speak very candidly about how I was considering putting my son up for adoption because that was a suggestion of his father's. I wanted my son to have both of his parents. And to me, I felt like there was no way I could take care of my son by myself. My son's father was making me feel inadequate, that I possibly couldn't be strong enough to be a mother of a child on my own. You know, he was very, he liked to grade me and speak negatively to me about me, and to try to just break me down, you know. And that's just the type of person he is. That's how he grew up. That's how people spoke to him. So I think, you know, he felt like he could not be a good father, and that he didn't want, you know, to put his child through what he went through. He lived a traumatic childhood, and I had a traumatic childhood as well. So I think he felt like, you know, he wouldn't be able to be a decent father. And his first suggestion was to put, you know, our son up for adoption. And I almost considered it because I kept saying, I want my son to have two parents. I don't want to sit here and have my child grow up in a single parent home. I want somebody that I could at least, you know, have a good co-parenting experience from. And I remember when I realized that my son's father wasn't going to be around at all. And I wanted other men to understand how detrimental that is to not just me or the mothers of your children, but it's detrimental to your children as well. Oh my God, you're shortchanging yourself. I mean, don't let people who have never had kids make you feel like being a father is terrible or having children is a bad thing. You know, of course, if you're the type of person where you don't want kids, you know, you're gonna strap up, you're just not gonna have them. But it's men out there who want to have children, and there are single men that are telling them, you know, being a father or being a parent is terrible, you know, because they themselves don't want to have children. I understand, you know, I understand that there are people out there that just know that they're too selfish, and I respect people that decide to purposely not have children because they know what kind of person that they are. But you can't in one sentence say you don't want children and then turn around and have casual sex without protection. That's just dumb. As a man, I just want men to understand you do have a say. It just depends on the woman that you are, you know, having a child with. I know for me, I always asked my son's father over and over again, what did he want? You know, what was it that he needed? And the only solid thing I heard him say was, well, I think we should give him up for adoption. And this is when I realized that he just didn't want to be a father for whatever reasons. And of course, it was unfortunate for him to be telling me this at the time I ended up pregnant, because before that we used to talk about having children all the time. But then when I got pregnant, now it's suddenly we should give our child up for adoption because we're not ready, we're not financially stable. And my thing is, you know, you're not financially stable. Well, it's time for you to do whatever you need to do to level up so you can become financially stable. And that was my thought process. And so, you know, I think that men should stop suggesting abortion or adoption so heavy and putting women in a position to have to choose between them and a child, because it's hard for a lot of women to, when you put us in a position to where it's like, well, you know, we could still kick it and be together as long as a baby's not in the picture. And if you choose this baby, you're gonna have to take care of this baby alone. You know, when those two things are the choices, it's a lot if a woman is deeply interested in you. And I remember All I wanted my son to have was two parents. I wasn't really choosing between my man and my son to the point where he was giving me an ultimatum like, yo, you either keep me or you, you know, you give our son. It was more of, I had to be comfortable with the fact that if I got rid of our son, if I got a abortion, you know, my son's father could have possibly stayed in my life, you know. But the fact that I was pregnant, and if I kept the child, this was definitely going to be, you know, my son's father's exit stage left. It was going to guarantee that. And so when you come to that realization as a woman, right, you're sitting there and you're just like, oh my God, like, I can't even believe this dude is selfish enough to make me choose between him and a child. But to put me in a position to where I have so much pressure on me that I have to sit here and make this decision alone. Not every woman wants to make that decision alone. We want to speak to our partners about it. And so I think a lot of men start to detach or disconnect themselves from it because it's so many women out there saying, well, what you want doesn't matter. This is my body. If I want to have an abortion, I'm going to. If I don't want to have an abortion, I'm not going to. But then as a woman, when you don't factor in what these men want, you can't complain when they decide to abandon you with the child. You're already disregarding him as if what he wants doesn't matter anyway, as far as the child goes. Men don't like, and a lot of people don't like this, but a lot of people don't like to feel like they're in a position where they have no control over the outcome of a situation. I'm not giving these men an excuse or a pass for abandoning their children, but at the same time, you have to be very careful during your selective process when you're choosing men to procreate with, or just to be in a relationship with, or to casually sleep with. You have to know these guys' characters, and do they want to be a father? And in the event if something happens, will they genuinely be there for their child? These are things that you have to think about when you're using your body to just get pleasure for the night. You know, it's a lot comes with that. There's a lot of responsibility with you physically laying down with somebody. So either you're going to put on the protection and you're going to do what you need to do, or you just need to stay celibate or abstinent or whatever the case is. So this is such a hefty topic. It's such a hard thing to discuss. It's regardless to what role you have, whether you're the father or the mother, it doesn't matter. It's just a very tough conversation as far as single parenting goes. And then a lot of people think, well, if you two would have gotten married, you know, these guys would have been more comfortable with taking care of their children. No, because it's still guys who get divorced and then they abandon their children, you know, because they no longer have an attachment to the woman that, you know, gave birth to these children. And I say it all the time, husband and boyfriend and father, those are three different roles. So if a guy decides he doesn't want to be a boyfriend, or if a man decides he doesn't want to be a husband, he still has to factor in that father is a whole nother thing, because that's the relationship that you have with a child, not a relationship that you're having with a woman. Now for me, I always told my son's father, this is a package deal. Okay, you are not about to sit here and, you know, get me pregnant and abandon me and make me a single mother. That is not gonna happen. These are things that I just kept saying to him, like before I even got pregnant. It was like, listen, if you want a child from me, we're gonna get married, you know. And I was having fertility issues, so I was like, if I don't get pregnant, if after 2 years pregnancy doesn't happen, then, you know, we can break up, and I'm gonna go let you be with someone else so you can have children with that woman, you know. I was never the type of woman that felt comfortable with the idea of being a single mother. Now that it's in my life and it's something that I'm doing, I don't feel as bad as I felt about it before. And the only reason why I've changed my mind about it so much is because of me experiencing it. Because before, I was just so terrified of being a single mom that it was just like, please don't put me in this role. Please don't put me in a position to have to worry about my son so much. And taking care of a child, it by yourself is a lot. But then I forgot that, you know, when you're raising a child alone, there's so many other things that, you know, you benefit raising a child by you know, by yourself is so many things that is like the bond that you have with your child is amazing because you're like their only parent, so the bond is there. But I mean, it's so many other reasons why it's beneficial. And then just because you're not inside of a marriage and you don't have like a husband wife type of situation, there's a village there. There are other people that, you know, become a part of your family, and it becomes a bigger family than you ever thought it would be initially. So I just feel like, I think a lot of people, once the idea of a baby comes into side of the relationship, for men especially, men start to get all of these fears and start to think their life is going to be over. They're never going to have the freedom that they used to have and things like that. No, you can have freedom if you have the right partnership. You know, you have somebody that, you know, you take turns with, you know. Some days you want to go out for the weekend, or you need to have a drink with your homies, or you want to go out and do whatever. A lot of the times, you know, you have like these amazing mothers who will come get your children. And for women, you know, when we need breaks, sometimes I'm just tired, you know, I just need some time to myself, or some adult time, or I need to go to the spa, or I need to do some grooming. It would be perfect if I had a partner there. Like my son's father was actually there to help me raise my son, because then I could take a rest, you know, because it is a lot. It is a responsibility, just like everything else, you know, that you want to be great at. When you want to be a great parent, you work really hard to be that. And so with that becomes a lot of responsibility. It becomes, you know, your time is consumed, and it's not like a negative thing. It's more of, you are molding a human being. And I know that can be scary, but you're molding a human being, okay? It's better that you come into the picture, do the best that you can, and mold that human being the best way you can, instead of you not being there at all. Because that's a cop-out. That is you not having the courage to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do. That's worse. That's worse than you trying very hard to be the best parent that you can be. You know, when you don't try, that's what makes you the coward. That's what makes you, you know, less of a human being. Your children, whatever it is that you created, whether you're ready for it or not, is happening. And so you have to decide what type of person you are going to be, what type of choice you're going to make now, because you already made a poor decision by having casual sex or having sex without protection. That was already a poor decision. So you really have to be selective about the choices that you make after that. Do you want to make better choices after that, or do you want your choice to be worse after that? Usually a person will want to redeem themselves, or make sure they don't dig themselves deeper into a hole. You feel me? So, you know, I just feel like, as a man, if you are a man, okay, and you find out that your girlfriend is pregnant, or you know, your wife is pregnant, and you're not necessarily ready to be a father, but you didn't think about that before laying down with this woman, as a man, just to protect your manhood, you might want to make a decision that is more responsible than simply just walking away from the situation and disappearing. That is the worst thing that you could do. Some people just scared, and there's nothing wrong with being scared. Courage and bravery is not you not being afraid. Courage and bravery is you being afraid and you're still doing it anyway. And I think a lot of people think that courage and bravery means that you're not afraid. No, you be scared, you just do it though. You know, you just do it.
Take your engagement to another level. Join our fam and get access to free merchandise services, exclusive members only live chats, and videos created just for us. You are loved here. You are relevant and valued. We want to show you appreciation for supporting Soncerae by giving you special benefits and privileges. We respect your time and positive energy. Tell a relative to tell a friend. Here is family over everything. All we ask is trust. Thanks for staying loyal to us. Follow Soncerae on Instagram @TheRealSoncerae. Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.